Okay. Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. This is going to be a very special price variance show. We're going to look at some of our favorite TV series, maybe, and books that are associated with them. And we're going to, I think I'm personally showing some really cool things that you might want to find, go out and find. I think Mark is going to do the same. So this is going to be a really great episode. So Mark, how about you show us your first comic?
Right, Alan, if you've ever watched my channel, you'll know my favorite TV comic character. It's SpongeBob. This all started probably about 18 months ago when I saw a copy of SpongeBob #1 on eBay, and I thought, oh, I think that's a pretty good investment. And I bought it, and I think I paid about $50 for it. And here we go. It's SpongeBob #1. Of course, SpongeBob, a mainstay of children's television, Nickelodeon. He's been around quite a few times. He's had a couple of films. But the comic series didn't actually start until quite late. It started much later than the TV series. And this one's really nice. It's got a wraparound cover. Anyway, I bought this, and I did a video about it, and I got very excited about it, saying how happy I was about it. And this has gone zooming up. You know, this is now sort of $600-700 for a 9.8. Anyway, my daughters saw this, and for Christmas this year, they bought me 4 SpongeBob comics. They got me issues 2, 4, and 6, and 8, I think it was. For my Christmas present. Now the problem with that is I can live with just having one, but when I've got 5 or 6 of them, that's it. My collector instinct clicks in, and my completionist instinct clicks in, and I've got to have all of them. So, so one of my objectives this year has been to get the complete run of SpongeBob comics. There are about 85 of them, and they're not cheap. And the reason they're not cheap is that the print runs were absolutely minuscule. This was the biggest printed one, and there were about 6,000-7,000 of this. By the time we got to the end of the run, the print runs were about 3,000 to 4,000. Now you can imagine it was mainly kids who were getting this comic, so a lot of them were destroyed. So a very low print run, 4 kids. So they're just, you don't find these. If you go in a whatnot auction and say to somebody, have you got any SpongeBobs? Nope. Very difficult to find, and I generally end up having to pay probably about $10 to $15 for a SpongeBob comic. And some of them are even more expensive than that. But I now have about 75 out of 85 of the SpongeBobs. So there we go. That's my first TV related comic, SpongeBob.
That's a really great one. I'm a big SpongeBob fan. I actually almost brought that book to show as well, because I have that as well.
Yeah.
There was a time period where I was kind of going through nostalgia buys, and I figure what's similar to SpongeBob. The book that I was thinking was Ren and Stimpy.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So this is another one. It's not as, I don't think it's nearly as good as SpongeBob, but there is like a cult following. And the books that I'm going to be showing in this video, this first part, are all cult following kind of books. So this one has a cult following. I paid $25 back in the 90s for this. This was a hot book back when it came out. It went like instantly, it was like $25. I'm like, what? It just came out. So I had to pay $25 for it. I was like so upset. And this has, this is it's still in the packaging. And this is one of those ones where they always say you should remove it from the poly bag. But if you do, it stinks. It actually stinks. It'll stink up your whole entire room. So you got to leave it in the bag, because it'll just destroy your other comics. Because it has an air defouler enclosed. Now, I wanted to tell you guys something kind of cool. So I always like to have something where, it's under the radar. People don't realize how cool, significant it is. So this is Ren and Stimpy #1. You would think, oh, this is the first appearance. It is not the first appearance. The first appearance is in this book. Amazing Heroes Swimsuit is special.
I knew that because you showed that last week.
Yeah, I showed this before. I love this book. I love it because it's a swimsuit thing and it's the first appearance of Ren and Stimpy. So extra, bonus.
Double whammy.
Double whammy. So I get my sexy girls and I get a first appearance. So, it's a win-win. So that's my first book.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, my next one is one of my favorite, as a child growing up, one of my favorite, well, probably my favorite television series was Batman and Robin. Just because I was born in 59, the series came out in 66. We had a little black and white television set, and occasionally we would get an episode of Batman. And Adam West and Burt Ward. There were some great Hollywood actors playing the
Vincent Price and
Burgess Meredith.
Yeah.
Just some great Hollywood actors playing parts in it. And recently, I came across a comic that I'd been completely unaware of up until recently. And I think it came out in something like 2016, 2017. It's a series called Batman 66. And it's based on the 1966 television series. And I'm going to show one in particular, which is fantastic. It's Batman 66, but it's also got Wonder Woman 77.
I really like that one.
It's got Batman from the 1966 television series and Linda Carter playing Wonder Woman from the 1977 series. Both of them had great tunes, great sort of memorable. I'm not going to sing them because my singing would drop the number of viewers on your channels.
You'd kill my channel.
Yeah. I don't think it would infringe any copyright because nobody would recognize it. But so and this is a really, this is a, you could get this for less than cover price, but I just love it. So this isn't about spec. This is just about a comic I love because it reminds me of my childhood. There we go. Batman 66 and Wonder Woman 77 together in the same comic. Did Adam West ever meet Linda Carter? Does anybody know?
I imagine they would have met. I think they would meet at like a convention or something like that. I could see that happening because like they're both kind of in the convention circuit.
Yeah. You'd have thought, you'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So that we got to make that book a reality. So the next one I'm going to show is again kind of a cool one. And I'm trying to pick books that have sort of like these weird cult followings, like sort of not big groups of people, but just like these small cult followings that are super loyal and will pay crazy amounts for these first appearances and first books. So this is another one I think is kind of like that, Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah.
So Rick and Morty has a really diehard, almost crazy like fan base.
They're a bit fanatical, aren't they?
Bit fanatical, yeah. And so this is the very first book with Rick and Morty. And this book actually commands pretty, like in a 9.8, it's like over 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. So it's a pretty low print run, I believe, as well.
And is that the first appearance? That is the first appearance, is it?
No.
It's not. So
I'm going to show you something. This is like one of my tips of the day. And you can make crazy money on this one tip. So you can actually make money on this. So Rick and Morty actually, before they released that, it was a TV series. So it was popular TV series. So they came out with a DVD set. They would have like, they had the set where it had multiple seasons, but they also came out with each season, right?
Okay, yeah.
So if you buy season one DVD, has to be the DVD. This book, this one right here, okay? Yeah. It would come, here, I'll take it out. So here's a little DVD thing.
Got a little comic with it.
It came with a little comic. And this little comic goes for about $200. Okay, it's called The Good Morty. Okay, and you got to make sure you get the first printing of this, because and there's actually people that have photocopied it and try to but it has to say, it'll say first edition on the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So this one, but the funny thing is, as I said, it costs about $200 to get just that little book. However, there's some people that don't know, and you can buy the DVD set for about $10 to $20. And if you say, hey, I want to make sure it's complete, does it include everything? And you can buy it for $20 and get the mini comic.
I'm going to go and have a look on eBay after this.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of secrets that people don't. It's sort of like when I was showing the Sonic.
Yeah.
People just don't know about it. And one of my viewers told me about the mini comic, but then I was like, hey, where did that mini comic appear? How do I get that? So I almost bought the expensive one where it was $100, $200. I was like, oh, $100, that's a pretty good deal. But then I found the DVD set for 20. I was like, why not? Save some money. So that's my kind of tip. You can 10 times your money. Pretty good deal.
Right. So most of the comics I'm showing here, I guess most of your viewers will have heard of, and you'll have heard of, and you've probably got the same comics. However, this one I absolutely guarantee you haven't got, and none of your viewers have got either. And that is TV Fun Annual 1959. Okay. So I said I was born in 1959. So this is the same age as me. In the UK, annuals used to come out at Christmas, and you used to get them for your kids at Christmas. And so this has got little stories in it from television programs that were on British television in 1959. Apparently there was a Canadian on British television, Mick of the Mounties. Have you ever heard of Mick of the Mounties?
Nope.
There you go. Probably before your time. And we've got pictures of television stars, and the guy on the cover here, I do remember watching this. I also got The Desert Raiders, which I assume was a television program at the time as well. No, I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it either. The guy on the cover there, that sort of school teacher, he's a sort of school teacher character. I have heard of, and in fact, I do remember watching. He was a sort of like a comedian called Jimmy Edwards, and he did have a program on television where he was a sort of school teacher, and he always got into, the pupils were always playing tricks on him and, taking advantage of him. A bit of history. TV Fun Annual 1959.
That's an interesting book. Never heard of it. We never got into those annual things. Maybe because the printing was less in the UK or something, or
yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. It's kind of weird. So yeah. So I'm doing all my cartoon classics. Okay. Another classic to me, I don't know, I like this series, is Darkwing Duck. I'm not sure if you know it.
I have to say I've never watched I've heard of it, but I've never seen an episode. I think it was
actually quite good. It's worthy of watching. He's kind of
are we talking
Batman
talking 70s or 80s?
I would say late 80s, 90s, maybe. I think 90s.
It's past my era.
Yeah. This book is actually quite, I wouldn't say as valuable as SpongeBob, but it's like a $30 to $50 book.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not too bad. So I didn't pay that much for it, but it's a cool one. I like the series. It was kind of quirky, it was like a clumsy kind of Batman kind of story. So Darkwing Duck, nice Disney comic.
Is he a superhero or a baddie?
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He's like Batman, kind of like Batman. Like, if Batman was a duck.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. So to get his first appearance, it is this book. It's the limited series. Okay, so you got to look for that one. But it's, I don't know. I like Darkwing Duck. These are the kind of books, because now Disney has a streaming service. I think they'll bring it. I think it's either been brought back already, or it's one of those ones that will be available. Yeah. So it's gonna have new generations that I think will get into it, and that's kind of why I'm recommending it, because it's still one of those semi-affordable. You can probably get it on the low for maybe $20. So I think it has like that cult following. So yeah.
Right. So my next one, following the theme of cartoons, is probably the most famous cartoon character of the modern era, Bart Simpson. So this I bought these. I think these are early 90s. These came out. Bongo Comics set up, and they started producing comics. And I was collecting. I was collecting at this time. It was pre-kids. So I bought all the first issues of the Simpsons, of the whole range of Bongo comics, issues probably 1, 2, and 3 at the time. So this one is one that I bought new from. It was on my pull list from my local comic book store. It's in pretty good nick. It's got the poster and everything. I think this was the first one. It says special collection.
Yeah, that's the first issue. That's the first appearance of the Simpsons.
This is a pretty pricey book now. Now I was on a Whatnot auction about a month or so ago, and this came up. It's a newsstand edition. And wow. This is early 90s. So newsstands really rare. You're down to 5% of copies, and it was up for auction, and it got it for $10.
Wow.
Yeah, newsstand edition of Simpsons Comics and Stories issue 1. It's cheaper than the direct version. So this one
is it in high grade?
Doesn't have a poster. Yeah, it is. It's pretty high grade. It looks 9+. Yeah,
right, nice.
Yeah, it doesn't have the poster, and it was a cheaper price. So this one was $2.50.
Yeah.
Whereas the
other one has the poster. It's $2.99 or something.
$2.95. Yeah.
$2.95. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was really good.
Yeah. So I think it goes for about $200 in the higher grades.
Yeah. So to be honest with you, very few newsstands around. I've had a look for the newsstands. They're not many of them.
Yeah. I think those would be really beaten up. If they're out there, they'd be like the kind that would be on the rack, and they'd be like just mangled by kids, looking at them.
I mean, it's not a 9.8. It's got a 4 or 5 spikes.
So probably 9.0.
Yeah, maybe, or an 8.5. It's pretty good. I mean, it looks like the corners are sharp. It's just because it's got this black down here, and you can.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, that's the worst. It's hard to get high grades.
Yeah.
I have 2 copies of that. One of which my son stole from me. So.
Whereas my one that I bought new is pretty clean. There's no spine ticks on it at all. So that's probably in the 9.
Yeah. It's weird with that book. Though, like anything below a 9, strangely, is you can pick up $5-10.
Yeah,
that's kind of normal. And then once it get above a 9, the price goes up 50, 100, 200, and it just goes. I think there was one that sold for over $300 for 9.8. So pretty crazy.
Yeah,
so, that's a good one though. I like that. I'm a big Simpsons fan. Okay, the next one, another nostalgia book, is Gargoyles.
Oh yeah.
Gargoyles number. This is actually, I really love this show. This is a great show.
I have watched them. Yeah, I quite like.
It had the guy from who played Riker from Star Trek.
Yeah.
What's his name? I forgot his name, but he was the main guy.
Yeah.
He played Goliath. I really loved the Gargoyles. It is a really great show. This book is actually quite rare. It's kind of hard to find, strangely, number one. I had number two and a few other issues from when back in the 90s. But for some reason, I never had number one until maybe about a year or so ago. So this is Gargoyles number one.
I like, it's a nice looking cover as well.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You got all the gargoyles there.
Yeah.
And it's one that was sort of hot about a year ago because it was brought back. Again, this is another one, I think either was on Disney Plus. I believe it's Disney Plus that they brought this back. Again, this is one of those ones where I could see them reintroducing the series because it has like that cult following where there's a bunch of people that love this, the storyline for this. And I could just see that it could come back as a new series because it was quite good. So yeah, the gargoyles would always come to life in the night, and that was kind of cool. That was what the thing I really liked about it. They sort of with the original story, their origin is that they were from this old castle and they were kept in the darkness for hundreds of years, and then they moved the statues back into like some like building, and then they came back to life. And it was like, that whole, they're sort of like a little bit clueless about the modern age. And, it's kind of cool. It was a very fun show.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Okay. So that's my,
right. So
fourth book?
My final one for your show. I'm afraid it's nostalgia television again for me.
Mm-hmm.
You all go, everybody likes music from when they were in their teenage years, and so, it's this for me, and I like television from when I was in my teenage years. And my favorite show. So before I was a teenager, my favorite show was Batman. When I became a teenager, my favorite show became Star Trek, the first series of Star Trek. And here we go. I've shown this a couple of times before. This is my Star Trek number one. You've got yours there. So you've got your beat up version somewhere.
My beat up version's a 4.0 now. I upgraded it.
Oh, you've upgraded.
I upgraded it. Right. Yeah, I upgraded.
Okay. I've got the wonderful Will Shatner has signed mine, as he has signed half the copies that exist.
I have one of those rare unsigned ones.
Oh, it's probably worth more than the signed ones. And there he is on the back. We got fantastic.
I know, it's a great cover.
This is great. So Star Trek Gold Key 1967, and it's really funny because these covers are photo covers, so it's fine, but the artwork inside, the artwork was done by Italian artists who'd never actually seen the show.
Yeah. Because they're cheap.
Yeah, so there we go. My favorite television show all time. It won't be beat now because I'm old and I watch television shows and I get bored of them after half an hour.
Yeah, well, they're pretty bad nowadays.
So there we go. Star Trek number one.
Okay, that's a cool one. I'm keeping it with the cartoons, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
And like with these cult followings, I'm sure you've heard the term bromie.
Bromie, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that comes from My Little Pony. I actually have a personal. I love this. The original series was quite funny. It had like some. I think the reason a lot of older men like My Little Pony was the original series was kind of funny. Like it had like a sort of adult humor in it as well. That was like sort of subtle. Like I like shows where a kid can watch it and get one meaning.
Yeah. And
just sort of the basic meaning. And then an adult can watch it and get that second kind of hidden meaning. Yeah. And My Little Pony had that. So I think it was really popular. The cool thing about it, the first issue, I actually have like 3 or 4 first issues of this book because there's so many different covers. It had all these crazy covers.
All right, those are variant covers, are they?
Yeah, these are the variants. I'm not sure which is I think this might actually be the first like non-variant. I don't know. There's just so many variants.
Are they signed or is your?
Yeah, I got both mine signed. So signed by the creators. This one actually had this was a special one that they made, like a variant where they had like a little sign box and you could get all the people to sign it. I actually met the person that did the voice for Pinkie Pie. And I actually paid money for my kids to get like a signed Pinkie Pie like poster thing. So, I'm invested in this show. Yeah, it's one that I'm a little bit nostalgic about because when I was younger, as a parent, my kids would watch My Little Pony, and my son really loved My Little Pony, and he would carry like this little Rainbow Dash figurine with him everywhere. And I just remember one day he lost it. Okay.
Oh no.
So it was really funny. So what happened was he lost it in his, in the daycare. And we were like, we basically turned the whole daycare upside down, this like, the whole thing, looking for this like little figurine. We ended up finding it. And we're like, oh, we found it. Okay. So we found it. And then about a week or so later, he's like, oh, I found My Little Pony. So the one that we found at the daycare somebody else's and some other kids probably traumatized that they lost their My Little Pony. So we have 2 figurines of Rainbow Dash. So he actually, it's funny because he actually my son signed his so that it wouldn't happen again. So yeah, it's kind of a, it's nostalgic for me. It's a personal nostalgia.
Yeah, it's personal.
Yeah. So this book, though, I actually think it's a good one to spec on because there is that cult following.
Yeah, I will not be specking on My Little Pony. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on! I'm gonna see you dressed up as a Bromie guy soon. I can see it. I could see you wearing the the little hoofs and stuff. It'd be awesome.
I'm afraid I completely missed me. And I'm not gonna try and catch it.
Yeah. It was a fun series. You gotta watch it, man. It's awesome. Okay.
Having said that, I'm now going to buy some mystery box.
And then it'll be My Little Pony.
It's going to have My Little Pony.
Now it's going to follow you. You're going to have nightmares about My Little Pony now. Okay, so that's part 1, and we're going to do part 2 on your channel.
Yep.
And I'm going to do a completely different, there's a bit of a different theme that I'm going to bring over to your other channel.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing 5 more TV classics or TV shows from your channel.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll go over there. Everyone, click the link either in the description or on the thingy down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And go over to Mark's channel. Okay, bye for now.
Bye.